Mitram and Bandhuvam, welcome to South Asia Maps Education channel. Your presenter Dr. Reddy, and if you are new to my education channel, you can access a lot of 330 or so educational resources and very diverse topics at South Asia Maps Reddy. Today we are discussing a very important topic of the most powerful nation on the planet Earth, the United States of America. It is the land of Colossus, that means the humans, giant human beings who consume lot of resources and leave very big ecological footprint on the planet Earth. That is the term used by Dr. Catton for humans. We put a very big human being, Homo Colossus, 330 million people or so in the United States. This is the part 100, a series of human ecology, Predicament. The title is United States of America, 330 million colossus. They are hunting every day for round about 19 or 20 million barrels of oil. They are the hunters and gatherers. They have to hunt today just to carry on their normal lives. They hunt it for tomorrow, day after tomorrow, day after tomorrow. If they cannot hunt and bring the prey, their lives will be in extreme jeopardy. And we'll see what that signifies. Here we see the United States map from the coast to the shining coast, Atlantic to Pacific, 10 million square kilometers, not count, like ignoring Alaska and Hawaii here. We have 5 barrels, 515 and 419. What is a barrel means? Barrel in the United States is a 42 gallons. In the United States, water and liquids are measured as a gallons. Each gallon is pretty close to 4 liters. If you make this as a 40, multiply by 4, you get 160, round about 158 liters. That is pretty near. So every day they have to get 20 million barrels of oil, sometimes 18, 19, just I put 19 at that particular year, 2022 or so. They have to hunt for it. The hunting means the big companies has to go and look the oil reserves, drill it and bring it, refine it. It's essentially hunting and gathering. Like the 10,000 years back, before sedentary agriculture started, horticulture, people were going and hunting a prey, bringing it to the dependents and family members, a tribe. They're all eating and having a good food. Next day they go. If they don't find the prey, and they cannot get anything. Every day they have to find it. That was very risky till horticulture, agriculture was invented. After that their lives become very comfortable because stable food supplies. This is the same 19 million barrels of oil they have to hunt. Hunters and gatherers. They were the traditional hunters and gatherers before farmers. These are modern day, wearing the ties and shoes and boots and all the things, but they're industrial hunters and gatherers. A nation of 300 million colossus, which are essentially hunters and gatherers society, industrial hunters and gatherers. And if you look here, I got it from, I think, his Wikipedia or so, I guess I have put it here. Wikipedia, that map shows around about 2020, this is 10 million barrels here, production. You just make 8 or 9 here, that means it consumes around about 20 or 18, half it produces on its territory, and remaining half it gets elsewhere. That is called invisible acreage. The visible acreage it gets within its frontiers, half. Invisible acreage elsewhere from the Canada or from Mexico or Venezuela, and most of the time from the Middle East and Persian Gulf areas. The remaining, that is establishing the trade relation, giving them the notes, the IOUs, like the digital currency transfer. They will send the entire very rich oil, and that is very valuable commodity. That's a different story. We are not interested. So in essence, every day the planet Earth 100 or 90 million barrel oil is extracted or consumed. United States consumes nearly 20%, 18 units MBL, million barrels, you can say. China 14. Now India is also industrializing. They are very big. They want to become Homo Colossus for the rest of the planet. They have lot, you see, read the news and like that. They have lots of this type of exuberant ideas, even though we are living in a post-exuberant world. It consumes only 5 units. Even Saudi Arabia, that has only 30 million people or so, consumes nearly 4. That's a very big amount of. The remaining I have given here. So that is the United States during when the Lincoln was assassinated around about 1865 or so. It has 35 million people. They're essentially Homo sapiens, simple living, very little energy. Even the continental railways were built and all those things. But still we can say the lifestyle was very simple in an industrializing society. During the time of Biden, we say I put by mistake 350 here. There are around about 330 or so million people live there. They're all Homo Colossus. See in the night satellite images how much energy they consume in the east coast, east of Mississippi River, in the seaboard, big cities. That means India has a 3.2 million square kilometers, so 1500 million people. Most of them are Homo sapiens, a modest low level of Homo colossus are there. But you think this is a very densely populated, it's not. The America has around about 350, let's say 350. Because Americans, if you take 10 times more energy consumption, that 350 million people will become 3,500. If you give 20 times more energy than average Indian, that is the case. Actually, there are 7,000 million. That means 7 billion, we can say low energy consumers, Homo sapiens living in that part. Even we cannot say India is a Homo sapien. There are a lot of various levels of Homo colossus live there. It's a modest amount of consumption. This is a very densely populated country from ecological perspective. That is the world richest nation, which is now in the post-exuberant era, 330 million Homo colossus. Every day they have to hunt for 20 million barrels of oil. On the planet Earth overall, there are 8,000 million people in round about 120, 150 countries or so, real countries, not counting Macau and Vatican and all those things. They are hunting for 100 million barrels of oil on the planet every day, consuming 100 million, among which 20% is diverted to 330 million Homo colossus in the United States. That is the very, very important thing we have to keep in mind. If once oil depletion occurs within next 2-3 decades, how the people who are so much dependent on their economy, prosperity and oil, even to carry normal lives, they will be able to manage is a very challenging thing, and that is the thing they cannot even discuss because it's a very uncomfortable question that Dr. Catton analyzed at a very deeper level in his book Overshoot. Even 1980s itself, he conceived this book around about 1970s and put, that means if you say 2020 here, the book he started writing 1970s, published in 1980, means 50 years back. He has put all these ideas in ecological perspective you can go and look at it. So we are again looking at the worldometer. You can stop there. You can see how much oil every day, the oil consumption by the country. United States 19 units, 19 MBLs, 19 millions you can say units, or 20 sometimes you can say. China is pretty close to 12, India is getting around 5 or so, Japan, Russia and so on, all those things. That is the most so-called prosperous nation running on phantom carrying capacity. Society running on oil is essentially running on artificial carrying capacity. That means it cannot support 330 million people at that standard of living. That means 330 million colossus living there has to hunt every day for 20 20 million barrels of oil. Where they find in their own soil, outside soil, does not matter. A lot of Americans are so finicky about the oil security. You have to provide oil in their own domestic country frontier. That is a very minor issue. The powerful blue navy, of course, guards the American blue navy, the Panama Canal choking point and Gibraltar choking point nearby, the Straits of Hormuz and Straits of the Suez Canal area in the Mediterranean, and of course the Malaccan Straits, Makassar Straits, all those areas. And in order to get the oil supplies has to come to the country. That's the main importance. And oil supplies also should not be disrupted to its friendly nations where it has an invisible acreage it is enjoying through trade relations. That is just transferring the IOUs or the fiat currency, digital currency, highly valued currency because of the Bretton Woods system, and the reserves currency. That is a outside the aspect. But ecologically looking, this is what it is happening, and we have to see how the events roll as we move in the next 1 or 2 decades. That's about the most prosperous nation on the planet Earth, living a very precarious lifestyles, that is hunting and gathering every day 20 million barrels of oil and competing with these potentially industrializing rivals is the topic of today's discussion. Mitram and Bandhum, I really appreciate you joining me today. And if you take few seconds and put your comments and suggestions on the topic, that will be greatly appreciated, and see you later.